Multiplayer games have never really been my thing. Most of the time, I don't really bother with the multiplayer in games. There are exceptions, but for the most part, I really couldn't care less. So when I heard about Crossout, I really wasn't interested in it until I heard that it was about cars smashing and shooting into each other. And, you know, also free. So once I heard that, I was more than interested. So is this game good or something that belongs in a junkyard? Let's find out. The story here is pretty bare bones. You are a guy, let's call him Mad Max, Angry Alex, who has one mission: destroy everything, or something along those lines. You really just get a text where every so often that amounts to nothing. The game just wants you to get in that car and blow stuff up, and to the game's credit, it's really good. The shooting works like a twin stick shooter, so the guns will face whatever directions you've turned them, but the car won't go in said direction unless you move it there. This works great. It allows you to drive away from the opposing car while still delivering damage to it. Just watch where you're going. I crashed into the wall so many times, Angry Alex might as well be called Drunk Derek. The car you control starts out with decent handling and speed, but here's where the true appeal of Crossout comes in. You can customize your car to whatever fits you, as long as you follow the few rules the game has in. So, if you feel like you're going too slow and your turns are just too wide, maybe get rid of some armor so you can turn faster, or maybe you like to ram into people. Put some blades on your car and maybe a rocket to increase ramming speed, and boom, now you're crashing with style. And you're going to love the customization feature due to the other mechanic Crossout has, that being that parts of your car can be destroyed if they take enough damage. So this requires you to be very strategic to where you're going to place the parts of your cars or what ways the parts may be at, while also rewarding aiming at specific parts of the car and not just the main part. And come on, I can't be the only one who finds it fun to leave a car with no guns or wheels and just go to town on it. Though when it happens to me, but the game isn't going to hand these parts to you. You gain more items by completing certain missions. These missions usually destroy everybody or capture their base by going to it and just sitting there, or there's one base you need to capture, or you could destroy the other team. Yeah, these missions are repetitive as heck, and they don't change depending on what you're going for. So if you want the wheels, you're going to do the above. If you want a new frame, guess what you're doing. The game also needs a better matchmaking system, as people who are level 10 playing missions that are aimed at level 10s can still be set up against people who clearly aren't level 10s and have cars that aren't cars, they're freaking tanks. But let's go back to the missions for a moment. What really annoys me about them is that the game does have other mission types for you to play. They're part of the other modes that give you stuff that isn't really as useful as stuff like wheels. These don't generally have you do things like destroy a tower against increasingly difficult enemies, or have you defend points from other enemies, or have you destroy towers that are rocking guns of their own. So the game has other stuff for you to do that keeps things interesting, but it only gives the thing you're more likely to play the most boring and monotonous thing. It doesn't help that these other modes seem to be barren most of the time. Like, it could just be a me thing, but when I went to play on them, it took me way longer to find a match than it did when I'm playing something like Get the Wheels, where it would generally take me less than 10 seconds. So to wrap this section up, the modes that aren't that popular are getting most of the good stuff, while the popular modes are getting jack. And step away from the gameplay, the game looks nice. I'm not running the games on max settings because my laptop's a potato, but the environments still look great. All of them either look deserted or made out of crudely made materials. It really pulled me into the world that Crossout is going for. The cars also look great. All share that same vibe, that the parts weren't put together by pros, but by Angry Alex, a man who just smashes things together until they look like they might work. The music isn't really anything to go home about. It's catchy at times, but that's it. There isn't much else to talk about, so let's cut to the chase. Now, while Crossout is fun and shows very creative ideas, the repetitive mission structure grates on you, and it grates on you quick. I do have some hope that these issues will be fixed later, as the game isn't early development, so here's hoping that the game gets good. With all that, I'm out. If you thought I was a big idiot, let me know in the comment section below. If you didn't, maybe like and subscribe. Appreciate it. But until next time.